Well, hello friends out there in YouTube land. Rob Ham here, and today we're going to take another look at the Instax Mini Evo. We're going to give it a once around, go over the controls, and just kind of give an overall look for it and your first impressions if you haven't seen it before. So here we go. Starting at the front of the camera, we've got this nice painted plastic. It's a painted silver plastic that creates this really retro look with these black inlays. It's very nice. There are some silver accent part right there that are nice and shiny. As we go around to the back, we can see that the framing is actually matched from front to back, which is really nice. The controls and the dials, such as the print lever. Over here on the side, we actually have a nice little tripod socket right there. And running on back to the front, we've had our once around just so that you can see what it looks like. As we get to the top, we have our rotation ring right here on the lens. This is our lens ring. It allows us to choose whichever lens effect that we would like. We do have our on and off button right here. We have the Instax Mini Evo name right here. This is embossed in the silver, metallic silver, which is really nice. Moving up to the top, we have our multi-light augmentation LED. This LED is quite a bit more useful than you might think, but also we're going to have at the top a hot shoe mount we'll talk about in a second, which is also something that I use an additional light to bring in a nice light. Here we've got our self timer and our charging indicator, which is really nice. We have a front shutter button, which works quite well. We also have a selfie mirror right here. And then I want to bring your attention to this. This is actually the Fujifilm Instax branding. This branding matches the X100 Fujinon series lens, which is a very important type of branding for the X100 series. And it shows us here that Fujifilm looks at this camera as a very important camera in their lineup. They're actually trying to not just style it like a more professional camera, they are also branding it as well. We also have Fujifilm. Looks really nice right there. When we turn over here to the side, this is one of the parts that you'll use most. This is where your film will eject. It's very nice. It ejects pretty quickly within 15 to 20 seconds, depending on your print mode. Circling around towards the back, we've got the LCD screen. We also have our detach lever so that we can open up the back panel. We have a 4-way jog dial right here with a center button OK, as well as a back button, a play button, and then a function button. A little bit of information about these buttons because they will be irritating to you. This back button is only a back button when you're in a menu or in playback, but it will not get you to the shooting menu again. So if you are, for example, looking at something, we're going to turn the camera on. If you are, for example, looking at something, we're in our shooting menu right here, and you go ahead and you want to go to your playback menu. When you click the back button, it will not allow you to go back. If you're in this menu here, the actual main menu, when you click the back button, it will allow you to go back. The only way to get back to your shooting screen is to full press the shutter button. This is completely opposite to the way it would normally work on a camera where a half press of the shutter button would always take you back to live view shooting. This is a bit of a problem for some people, but it is what it is. As we continue looking around, we're going to have our serial number, as you can see right here on the side, as well as our tripod socket right here. The nice part is this tripod mount is replaceable. As you can see, it has a screw so that we can remove it and replace it. And that's going to bring us back to the front. Now, we're going to go ahead and bring the Mini Evo down so we can see the very bottom. Underneath here is where you're going to find a very irritating little panel. This is where you're going to charge as well as exchange your memory card for the camera, as well as this little button right here is a reset if you ever need to reset the camera because it freezes up. Now this little flap is flimsy, and open it with caution and care that it could break at some point in time. It isn't the best well made in my opinion. We also have right here a nice little strap lug where you can put the strap full that came with your Instax camera. Moving on along, we're going to actually move up to the top. For the top screen, I'm going to take off my accessory shoe that I have on so that you can see what's over here. As I lean the camera forwards, you're actually going to be able to see a couple of things. We're going to see our print lever. This is the print lever that everyone is enjoying and liking so much about this camera. When you want to print an image, it's just as easy and satisfying as printing that. Moving on over, we have another shutter button. Both of these shutter buttons are 2-stage shutter buttons, which mean that they will get a focus on a half press and then take complete shot, a full release the shutter on a full press. At the top, we also have a clear or back filter button. This will get you back to a normal shooting condition, that little button right there, in case you've just want to get to it very quickly without having to try to scroll through it and find the normal parts of your lens filter as well as your film effects. Now in the center you're going to see the star of the show here, which is our top mounted cold shoe. The only disappointment I have here is that Fujifilm makes cameras. They could have included a complete hot shoe right here, and we could have used that to sync our cameras with flash that we already have. Following all this up, we do have our film effect wheel. This is like your film simulations, but they don't go into it that deep. I wish that they had. It would be a nice idea if we had been able to get acros or some kind of film effects right here. And then finally, right here we have the top strap lug. Both of those paired together allow the camera to hang in a vertical orientation just like this, just like you see. Coming around back to the front, we're going to look once again, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this little Ulanzi flash that I put on top and screw this down. Now this is a very important part of my photography with this camera because the LED light, although very helpful, it does not always illuminate completely the way that you want. Although if you have some extra light like this flash right here, you can go ahead and use that to fill the majority of your raccoon eyes or shadows that need to be filled. And then this flash right here can do the rest. I also have a rose filter on this, as you can easily tell. And this flash right here is not a multicolor flash, it's not a bicolor flash either. So I find that this very blue flash pairs quite well with this rose filter and everything looks nice. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for our tour as we go around. I guess I will say one other thing. People ask me if I use a lens protector. I do not. The lens is recessed pretty far into the system itself, and the lens is actually that very small circle there in the middle only. The lens actually is not this big wide round thing. The sensor in here is tiny, and it's actually the little dot inside of the lens. When you look at it, that's the actual lens. The lens itself is a lens-on sensor system on a chip that we have right here, which means that this front element that we see, which is reflective, maybe you can kind of see some of that reflection, is actually a plastic protection piece. Now this I like and agree with quite a bit, as a plastic protection front element, just like your glasses are for your prescription glasses, is a very strong and scratch resistant element, but most importantly, it's break resistant. And now, because this front lens element right here is actually subdued, or it's recessed into the lens itself, it works well if you have to put it down just like that. It doesn't really matter so much. So unless you're throwing this on rocks or anything, you're not going to have too much of a problem carrying it around during the regular day. Onto the back, I would suggest an LCD screen protector at some point in time, but for me, I'm just taking it as it is, and I'm actually using this in my work environment so that I can show you what it looks like after a year of use. I've got a few scratches on it so far, and it's actually holding up quite a bit better than I had expected in the first place. So guys, this is our first look and walk around for the Fujifilm Instax Mini Evo, a really fun digital camera with attached printer that allows you to have a great time with Instax prints without wasting those prints. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Don't forget to use those Amazon links down below, and we will catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.